Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. I used to live in Los Angeles, Perna. What up, Culver City, S&W Diner? I miss you so much. And today I want to talk about how good I think the Rams can be in 2018. Now, unless you live inside of Satan's asshole, also known as LeBron James' decision cave, then you know the Rams added some big-name free agents this offseason. They are a playoff team in 2017 and are poised to be elite in every phase of the game, which honestly makes me a little nervous that they are just set up for failure. So I'm going to break down the Rams, which is the closest thing the NFL has to a super team in 2018. That's Good Sports. Please make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. If you're already subbed, click that notification button. And yes, we have a podcast, an official podcast, the That's Good Sports podcast. There's a link in the description. You can listen to it on Podbean, on my second channel, That's Good Broncos, iTunes. It's a podcast. We talk about football and the Broncos. I also have Big Dick Patreon shout-outs for Carlos Rios Jr., Peter Harris, Carrie M. Columbell, and a $5.78 donation from Benedict K. Now, honestly, I think you can safely argue every team in the NFL gets better during the offseason. Only doomed franchises like the Jets and Browns typically feel otherwise, but even they should have hope this year. All teams are better on paper after the draft and free agency. When that proves to be untrue, it's usually a combination of any of the following: bad free agent signings that felt really good at the time, like great sex that leads to STDs, a poor draft class, injuries, bad team chemistry, or usually a kissing coach. Don't you guys remember when your coach would make you kiss him on the lips before and after every practice? I have to believe this affects some NFL teams every season, Andy Reid. Stan Kroenke, owner of the Rams, moved the team from St. Louis to Los Angeles, drafted Jared Goff, saw Jeff Fisher nearly ruin Goff, Case Keenum, and Nick Foles, decided to fire Fisher, and then hire the youngest coach in the league, Sean McVay. Is he still the youngest coach? A ballsy move given the terrible precedent Josh McDaniels set for young NFL coaches. Josh McDaniels is to young coaches what the Suicide Squad was to superhero movies. In fact, the Suicide Squad and Josh McDaniels both just make you want to commit suicide. McVay then brought in Wade Phillips for the defense, fixed Jared Goff with 2 prostate exams and an offense tooled to his strengths, and knew giving Todd Gurley the ball more was a great fucking idea. The Rams went from being irrelevant to the best team in the NFC West, surpassing the Seahawks and getting into the playoffs. That is a pretty quick turnaround. Unless you're a Rams fan who has watched this team drown in mediocrity for the last 14 years. I will say the move to LA inflated the balls of the Rams organization. They are big and juicy now. This team isn't fucking around. And that's why they made a big dick splash in free agency, going all in for 2018. Because of Todd Gurley, the Rams' offense was a top 5 or top 6 unit last season. On defense, they were top 10 or 11. So naturally, the biggest opportunity for improvement comes on the defensive side of the football. And that's what they did in free agency. That's why on the shores of the beaches in the LA area, Malibu, Venice, Long Beach, Rams fans are surfing on the massive waves of the big dick free agency splashes when the team traded for corners Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and a very savvy depth signing with free agent Sam Shields. Then they landed in Ndamukong, I have legs for arms, Sue, Ramik Wilson from the Chiefs after losing Alec Ogletree and added Brandin Cooks at wide receiver to replace Sammy Watkins, while also re-signing nickel corner Nikel Roby-Coleman. If that guy wasn't born to play nickel corner, then he should have been a coin collector or worked at a mint. The Roby-Coleman signing was maybe the most important in-house keep for the Rams. Coleman is a pretty good corner, but he's a very good slot corner. And now that he has lockdowns on the outside with Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and a top 5 safety in LaMarcus Joyner and a damn good second-year safety in John Johnson, the third, Coleman is free to take away the short passing game of opposing offenses. Nobody utilizes a great secondary as well as Wade Phillips. Trust me, Rams fans, you should be excited about that secondary this season. I think former Chiefs linebacker Ramik Wilson is a great signing, assuming he can stay healthy. Kind of an under-the-radar guy for this team. Aaron Donald will play this season despite all the contract shit. That's my official prediction. And now, with Ndamukong on that D-line, paired with Donald and Brockers, I guarantee that secondary will benefit, finishing top 3, top 2 in interceptions, because quarterbacks are going to be terrorized by that defensive line. In terms of the draft for the Rams, I don't have a clue. They didn't even make their first pick until the 3rd round, which is fine because they more than compensated through free agency. I will say, starting in round 5, they selected 3 linebackers, which is their biggest weakness on defense, as they were not good against the run in 2017. 5th worst in yards per game given up, while also giving up 15 rushing TDs, tied 4th worst. So, Rams fans, you better hope Micah Kiser, Obo Okoronkwo, or Travin Howard turns out to be studs in the middle of that defense. One of them, 2 of them. Defense is set. My biggest question for the Rams is Jared Goff. I'm not arguing whether or not he can game, because he can. I was very impressed with how well he played with new coaches last season, especially with all the pressure that comes with being the first overall pick in the draft and having a pretty shitty debut as a rookie. But right now, you could argue that he's the 3rd best quarterback in the NFC West, behind Russell Wilson and Jimmy G. And the 49ers may now have the best offensive line in the division to help Jimmy G in that debate. The key here for Goff is to continue and improve. He has to get better and make this team a legitimate threat. Like the run defense, I think the Rams' passing game has the biggest amount of room to grow. And I say that carefully because asking for Goff to do better than 28 touchdowns to 7 picks when he has Todd Gurley in the backfield seems insane. I get it. My point is, with the confidence Goff gained last season, with Todd Gurley and 3 good receivers in Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Brandin Cooks, Goff has to exploit the fear Gurley puts in opposing defenses by torching teams with his arm. I think if Tyler Higbee or Gerald Everett can step up at the tight end position, that will help Goff more than anything else in the passing game, besides his ability to continue to be smart with the football. Special teams had the 2nd best ranking in Pro Football Focus last season. That was a surprise to me. That's really important for winning close games, which in the NFC West this season will probably be happening frequently for the Rams. The 49ers are going to be competitive. The Seahawks are a team kind of in transition in my opinion, but with Russell Wilson at the helm, they are a threat every single week they play. And even the Cardinals, who I think will finish in last place in the division, have the potential to be better than every other team that finishes last place in their respective divisions. So, I think the NFC West will be the toughest division in football this season. Are the Rams a super team? Not really, but they are close. If Jared Goff had 2 terrific seasons under his belt, and we were talking about him as a top 5 or 10 QB, then yes, I would call them a super team for 2018. But Goff really does have a lot to prove and a lot to live up to after a very good 2017 sophomore performance. Rams, not a super team, but they are a Super Bowl or bust team this season, because once 2019's free agency period starts, this team is going to lose a lot of important pieces. They're like a 1,500-piece jigsaw puzzle left at a kindergarten. Okay? I believe they have like 15 or 16 unrestricted free agents. That was a stupid metaphor, which without doing any research is probably the most free agents in NFL history. Next to good health for the season and solid play from Jared Goff, the biggest thing that will affect this team's performance is chemistry. There's a lot of new pieces on this Rams team, and there are huge personalities from Sue to Talib and Peters to the always vocal long snapper Jake McCade. Jake, you never shut up, do you? Always getting into trouble, that long snapper. And if all these new players don't all come together like a Bukkake film, all that talent will be wasted. I think Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib are great personalities for the locker room, even though the media often tries to present them in a different way. I'm not sure what Sue is like with his teammates, but Wade Phillips is a player's coach, and Talib said he'd only play for Wade or the Patriots. I think that speaks highly of Wade. I also think Sean McVay is the right leader for this team, and I do predict the Rams to finish first in the NFC West and push for a Super Bowl in February. You're welcome, Rams fans. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out my website, ThatsGoodSports.com. Don't forget to listen to my podcast. There's a link in the description. It's podbean.com/ThatsGoodSports or something. Do it every week with Will Keys. It's a real podcast, god damn it.